Now, here is your host.
Hello, and welcome to the Get Caught Up podcast. I am your host, Untamed. And as my girl Aubrey Penn said, she said, bring yourself up. So I said, okay. And what was it, Julia? She said, Julia Preston, she said, the Oprah and Gail of the literary podcasting community. So I have embraced that title. Crystal has embraced that title. Of course, you know that we come to you every week. It used to be every other week, but every week with the new author interview, and we are excited because this is our love and football author interview tonight, and I cannot wait to dive into it. Crystal, Miss Gail, Miss Books and Soul, how are you doing this evening?
I'm so excited because I love football. It ain't because, yeah, it is because of the men's. I ain't even gonna sit here and fake and lie. It's because of the men's. I mean, it's exciting, but to just see all them fine men running across the field, yeah, I'm excited.
The men folks, girl.
The men folks, yep. You gotta, and it's men with the Z, not an S.
Men with the men's. I can't even argue with you on that, because that is a nice treat too.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Those men is easy on the eyes, okay?
They definitely do.
I cannot argue with you on that. Well, before we get started, I gotta give a shout out to the people who give the money that jiggle and fold.
That part
and fold. Okay. So major love goes out to Miss Kiana Danae, XO, JC, KB's Bookshelf, Tyler Landscaping, Joe's Pressure Washer and Lawn Care, if I can get it out tonight, and me and my son's lawn care. Lord have mercy. And we are presented by Untamed Publishing. Allow us to help you unlock your unlimited writing potential. If you are an aspiring, new, or even seasoned author, you need help along your literary journey, please visit www.untamedpublishing.net, where a plethora of services are available to you, such as synopsis writing, proofreading, editing, all those things, all the tools you need to help you on your literary journey. Again, that's www.untamedpublishing.net. Well, now that we got all of that out of the way, girl, we gotta get to the guest, our guest of honor for tonight. So I will hand you over the floor, Miss Crystal.
All right. So tonight we will be talking to none other than Miss Alexandra Warren. I have to put the little spice to it because that's my girl. Like, I'm a fan, and I'm telling y'all, when y'all see her in public, like, you're gonna instantly fall in love. Like, she's so sweet. So, I'm excited as always. Okay, so Alexandra Warren is a contemporary romance author with over 30 works to date, all of which intentionally center Black love. She is also the co-founder of, girl, have you read? A digital platform dedicated to Black romance written by Black authors. When she's not in front of her computer, she enjoys traveling, spending time with family, watching sports, and clearing her DVR. Alexandra is a proud native of Omaha, Nebraska, but she currently calls Houston, Texas home. So, I'm going to add something to this. Are you guys ready for some football?
I feel like I need some pom-poms or something.
Right. We are ready for some football. So, Alexandra, welcome to the UP Hot Seat. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here for this specifically, talking about football. Let's go. I'm excited.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited. Yes. I'm excited. Listen, so
wait a minute, can I say something real quick before we get to, because y'all, me and Untamed like football. Untamed is more of a football person than I am. And as you can see, the funny thing about it, we love each other to death, but we are rival football teams. She got the Cowgirls. And I'm a Washington Redskin. I'm not calling them people no Commanders because that's not their name. So if you see me doing this or booing her, it's because she's wearing the Cowgirls. Okay, go ahead.
And look, while we on this, we actually just had this conversation. First of all, now we still gonna be rivals because I ain't gonna definitely like the Redskins.
And I never liked the Cowboys.
But right now, I'm having a breakup moment. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna make up with them or not, but I'm having a breakup moment with my Cowboys. Listen, if you're a football fan, I don't even have to tell you what happened. You know what went down with my team this year.
You mean every year? Every year, right?
I'm about to say them cowgirl fans, they gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I'm mad at them," and then if they win like 3 or 4 games back to back, then they back on them. So
I know how it goes.
Let me tell you something. I have made a decision. Until they get to playoff game number 2, I don't care what they do.
Now that's what you do.
That's a good goal.
Yes, stand on business.
I'm standing on business with them because I can get them excuse a whole lot of years. You know, for the last 10 years, I can get them some kind of excuse. This was a year that I was like, nah, y'all had everything. Y'all just failed. You failed miserably. And so with that, I'm like going through, I'm singing, you know, another sad love song.
Separated, but I'm willing to go to therapy. Like,
yeah, pretty much. But I think we probably safer being. We might be safer being Houston Skyhawks fans right about now.
I like that. That's
right.
Yeah,
right. I'm just gonna skip down the road, 2-3 hours.
There you go.
I got in Houston. That's what's gonna happen. So, and that's actually who I root when I, you know, got done with my team. I was like, it was 2 teams that I said, okay, I'll root for. It was Houston, and then after Houston, it was Baltimore. And then when both of them failed me, I said, I don't care who goes.
Right.
I know. I'm only going to watch the Super Bowl for the commercials and Usher. That is it.
Usher. That's it.
And Usher.
See, I'm a Midwest girl, so the Chiefs have always been in my family. I don't know if I would call myself a full Chiefs fan, but like my parents are excited, so that automatically makes me more excited because like I was excited with the Chiefs when they weren't good. So to see them having success year after year, it's like, okay, I see y'all.
Now,
I love that.
Of course, I'm going to go for the Chiefs because I wouldn't listen. As much as I dislike the Redskins, I would never.
Never go for the Indians, huh?
I would for the San Francisco 49ers, girl. I would.
See, that's why I love sports, because like we beefing with people, like how we end up in this, but we in this
right. Yes.
And this is the crazy part about it. If you ask me, have I ever met someone famous in football? The first person I ever met was Jerry Rice.
Oh, wow.
And I fangirl the heck out of him and can't stand for the
I still don't like your squad, but
right. But I like you. Right. But I like you.
But it was such a crazy moment because I'll never forget it. I was in middle school. And so this is during the time he was still playing. And we were in Lenox Square Mall. They were playing the Falcons that weekend. That's why he was there. And it was all of us, and you know, boys and girls. They let us go over there. That's back when Lenox was still safe.
Right.
You know, stuff changed in Atlanta now. Lenox is not. So he was like, all the females were like, that's Jerry Rice. Now, how it was a group of females who knew football at that young age, but we knew that was Jerry Rice. All of the guys were like, that's not him. So we just walked over there. He was at the little kiosk at the jury counter. We walked over there to him, and I said, excuse me, are you Jerry Rice? He was like, yeah. How you know me? I said, you play for the San Francisco 49ers. He was like, oh, I gotta give you an autograph.
Because you knew.
Right.
Yes. He started signing autographs for all of the girls. The guys come running over. Oh my God, it's Jerry Rice. And we're like, oh, don't come over here now because y'all said that wasn't him.
Right, it wasn't him.
He was like, oh, so y'all didn't recognize me? And the guys were like, No, we just think that they started stuttering. And he was like, no, I'm hanging with the girls because they knew who I was.
Oh, that's right,
It was
Jerry.
the
That's
cutest
right.
moment. That was the cutest moment. So like, I love Jerry Rice to this day, but if I could put him on another jersey,
She said Jerry's the only one. Okay.
Jerry's the only
Yeah.
one. He's it. He's it. I don't like anybody else. But yeah, so we've talked about football. So is there anything football related, love related that you would like to get off your chest? This is a new segment that we have. It could be a rant, it could be a rave. But since we're in the
Ooh,
love and football sphere, is there anything that you would like to get off your chest?
that's a good one. Okay, I got one. So because it's such a hot topic right now, is the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift relationship, right?
Yes.
But me, romance author me, is like, okay, I would love to see that, but in black. Like, how can we have the pop star, superstar, and the player? Like
Sierra and Russell Wilson.
We have it with Sierra Russell. And you know what else? This is what I think what irritates me when you have so many of the Swifties jump into her defense. And they're like, oh, she's the biggest star. And, first of all, that's arguable. That's arguable because, there's Beyonce still alive and she's still out
Thank
here
you.
working. And I will stand on the fact that I do believe that Beyonce is the bigger star because her music transcends and it crosses
oh
over.
yeah,
And
It sure
not
does.
even needed.
yeah, and
Yep.
it's like I couldn't tell you one Taylor Swift song to save my life. And I really couldn't.
Look, I'm sitting up here
Um,
thinking, I can tell
couldn't
you a
tell
Kelly
you one.
Clarkson song before I can tell you a Taylor Swift song.
Right.
A
Yeah,
Jessica
listen.
Simpson song before I tell you a Taylor Swift. I can even tell you an Ashley Simpson
Oh, you
song.
going deep in the crates.
Right.
Listen,
So to
I
tell
can
you
tell
that
you
she
a
ain't this
90s
big.
grunge song before I can tell you a Taylor Swift song, honey, because I sing some Kurt Cobain with my chest. You hear me?
And some Pink.
Let's be clear. I didn't like in real life. I mean, like in fiction world. Like, wouldn't that be cute? Like, but I don't want people to read it and think of them. I would want it to be so clearly
Yeah.
different. But like,
So you got to make sure it's a Sierra and a Russell Wilson, like with the having all the babies. Go for it. I say go for it.
Listen,
Yes.
you got it.
crazy
You
because
got
what
it.
really made me think about it, it was a clip of, I want to say his name is Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks, and he was talking about how Beyonce inspired him. And I was like, okay, well, what if Beyonce was single and she heard that? Like, would she just be so flattered that she wants to?
Yes.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know. She would probably be flattered. You want to know who I think would probably be more flat? Who would I think would be more flattered? I would think Jennifer Hudson would be more flattered.
I can see that.
I can see Jennifer doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It's
anybody who is like, instead of like, oh, she's so, the same thing. She's so beautiful. She's so talented. But like, no, like she inspires me with her work ethic. Like,
girl,
Oh,
like,
that is
that's
so
the
nice.
Simone
like,
Biles and
different.
Jonathan Owens.
Right, because who does he play with? Because he plays football. Who does he play
Yeah,
for?
he plays for the Packers, I want to say.
Yeah,
Because he
plays
was
for-
with the Texans, but I think he changed teams this season.
Okay, so
she's
yeah.
with the Green Bay Packers now, so she was part of the pack this
The
year.
Pack. The cheesehead.
And she's way more popular than him. So like now that's the flip.
That's a whole
She's
nother.
more-
That's a whole nother.
Yeah, she on a whole nother level.
Go down that road. So
Right.
so,
That is
so
true.
yeah,
Yes.
that's my thing about you said
Look,
love and football. That's what made me.
Guess
think.
what?
I love it.
That's what you do. You gotta. So how can we fuse the two? How can we get a fiction story that kind of fuses the elements of Simone and then this Taylor Swift situation to put it together with Travis Kelce?
and mix it all up and add some color.
Yeah, let's
Add
get
all
us
the colors
another
we need.
Skyhawks. Another Skyhawks
I
book.
see, I see the vision, and it was like I said, it was Bobby Wagner talking about Beyonce was really what sparked it, and then it's like, okay, but how do you do that without everybody thinking about Taylor and Travis. Like, it's not that, but it is that, but it's not that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that's what's been on my mind.
Look, I know you can tackle it though, because I'm gonna think about whoever it is in this book.
Yeah, the next Skyhawk that gets a full name, you're gonna be like, oh, is that gonna be? Is he gonna be the one?
Yeah, I'm for it.
I'm all the way for it. So
yes,
I would say this. Let me ask you this question then. So this is just about you as an author, and I don't know if we got into it deeply with you, but just I guess for people that's coming up, because this is kind of a great segue. Like you said, how would you flip that? It would take some talent, and you have plenty of that to be able to curtail our thoughts off of, Swift and Kelsey situation into a book. But what is one lesson you learned is becoming a published author that applies to your writing?
Ooh. I think the biggest one is like the readers that are for you will find you. In the beginning, I feel like with my first book, I was just so concerned about writing for everybody. And it's like, everybody's not going to read this book, like making it palatable for everybody, like, using certain words and not using certain words and all these things. And it's like, no, write for you, and then the people that are for you will find you. And so that I say that's the biggest lesson. So you read my first stuff, and it's obviously Black people, but like it was a lot more palatable than the way that I write now, because I go all the way there now. We don't hold back on the Black.
So tell them your first book, since you said that. So like you said, because I love when I read an author's first book and then they like 30, 40 books later, because we said you at 30. So from your first book to your 30th, you definitely see growth. I've seen growth from some of your books from like when I first read you to now, and I love it. But tell them the first book so they can go back and see.
Yeah, so my first book, I actually just celebrated my 9th anniversary.
Yes.
Congratulations.
The 1st of February. Thank you. So my first book was Attractions and Distractions, freshman year. I was fresh out of college, so it was like not writing about my college experience, but I felt like it was just so fresh in my being to have gone through college and, watch interaction with other people and been in interaction myself and all these things. And so it was easy for me to grab onto that to, turn it into a fiction story. But yeah, I don't know why I started my writing career off with a series. That was just so very brave of me. Very brave and delusional of me, but it worked out. And so yeah.
And look, she's tapping her hand, and it's so funny because I started and I'm doing the same thing, like starting out with a series where like, girl, you got some books that you can write one by one, so stop it. But I love, and that series is like 4 books because you did it for each year, right?
It was a series that had to be a series. It
right.
Couldn't stand alone as one thing, because it was like, okay, freshman year, like of course you're gonna want sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Right.
And so it was like I had to complete that, and yeah, that was, like I said, brave and delusional. But
listen, I'm with you. My first release was a series, and it was supposed to be one book, and I let my readers talked me into continuing the story, and it was fine until I became published and I had to keep going.
Right? Like, oh, y'all actually want this now? Like, oh my God.
And I just was like, oh my God. And by the time it's 6 books, and I was just like, Lord help me, y'all will never. I did, and then turned around and wrote a series right after that. Like I don't know. I was a glutton for punishment, and I told myself, like, listen, y'all will never. I'm not doing. I'll do a standalone series.
Yes, exactly.
I cannot. I would not do like a continuation series. No, God, this is on my last book for my second series, and I was just like, you know what? I cannot wait until it drops, but you would never get like this series. Be happy with it.
You talked about lessons learned as an author. That's another lesson.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. Because what I have learned is if you don't write all of it at one time, help your soul.
Your mind. Yeah, it is so hard.
It's hard. It is so hard. Oh my goodness. Look, that was a moment for all of you up and coming ones. Don't start out with those series.
Like you said, unless you're gonna write it all at once and break it down how you need to break it down, but a continuation series, like it's difficult, and it's taking some authors out, honestly. Like there's authors that have written a book that was supposed to have a part 2 or a continuation or whatever, and it locked them up. So
and we be still waiting for it. Feelings be hurt. I'd be like, I can't do it. I'd be so frustrated.
It doesn't feel good as an author.
Yes, yeah. So like it's a twofold. We're upset, but like you said, it doesn't. I'm glad you said it. Please make sure you share that part, because people be mad when they be like, well, you said you was gonna do a second book and blah blah blah. But like you said, you guys, it bothers you guys as readers, as authors too, if you haven't completed it. I just think some readers,
time flies and you look up. Like me, in 4 years and past.
And we talking about the View 3? Yeah. Yeah. And I'm late to the party. So just imagine people who read it when it first came out. I just read them. And I'm like, look, when is the third book coming out? Like, I'll be hounding her.
And it's not that we don't want to. It's just if it's not flowing, we're not, like, we literally can't force ourselves to. If y'all would be mad because y'all read it like, what is this? And we would not be proud of putting out something that we had to force. So
Kimberly Brown just did a post saying that because I think people were asking for a particular couple in her Jarreau series, and she posted it. She was like, she's not going to finish it. She's like, I'm 20K words in and it's feeling forced. And she's not going to do it. Have you ever had those experiences where you started a book and you're like, nah, I can't do this. It's just not working for me.
Oh yeah.
See?
And you, like I said, you get to the point where every time you sit down at the computer, it feels like a drag. And like creating is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be energized. You're supposed to be excited to get to these characters. And obviously some days are just hard to write because you just don't feel like writing, period. But when you're literally forcing words, when you have no flow, when it's just like, just going for a word count instead of going for the actual storytelling of it all, like it's frustrating, and we don't want to do that because the product is never as good.
I definitely like that because I've shared with Untamed. I had a book. I think I wrote it like 2020, and we are 4 years later. 6 chapters, and I was like, read through it one day. I was like, this shit sucks.
And see, sometimes that just be like our self-doubt in our mind that be creating that.
Yeah.
You'll read it one day and be like, oh, this is good. Why did I ever stop writing this? Like,
thank you. And someone else, I sat with another author and we were talking, and she was like, okay, well, now you're kind of looking at a different aspect of things. And because I've learned, y'all, I'm not a romance writer. I love romance. I love to read it. But for me to sit there and write mushy stuff, I'm like sick to my stomach. So now I picked it back up and I was like, girl, this I can deal with this. Yeah. So I had to go in and make some tweaks to it, but I've learned that, like I said, I'm still working and still working on putting out a book. It's just that I have to get out of my way because it might be good and people might like it, and I'm just like, nah.
It's gotta feel right to you. It does. It's
right.
Because a million people could tell you, oh, this is so great, this is so wonderful, but if it doesn't feel right to you as you're creating it, then it's never going to sit right with you. Like,
right.
You have to get past that.
And I'll tell you another thing too. If it doesn't feel right to you, if you put it out, you're not going to be able to get behind your work like it. Because you can always look at your work and say what you could have done better. But there's a certain piece that you have with your work that you put it out. It's like, even if I read it and I see, oh, I could have did this, I'm still satisfied with this.
Right.
And so that's the point where you want to get to with your work, because I'm telling you, if you put it out and you're not feeling good about it, it's not going to translate, because you have to be your first supporter,
Exactly. And so if you're not in love with the character, you're not in love with the storyline, if you're not in love with the process, like it's not gonna stick. It's just not gonna stick.
That's so true. Yes.
And I'm telling you, like, for me, it's like, I always know, like, okay, I have books out there that I was like, okay, it was okay,
Mhm.
and that's how it is. It's okay, It's
But
like it's
about
okay.
it was when you put it out, it was good to you when you put it out. Now, if you go back and read it, and it's like, oh, I could have did this better, I could, of course. But it's like at the time, I felt good about putting out Attraction to
Right.
freshman
Yeah,
year. When I read it
Yes.
back, there's gonna be parts I cringe at, and why did I do this, and why, like all the questions. But at the time, it felt good enough to put out. It felt good enough to start an audience and all these different things. So everyone matters in a
exactly,
different way.
It definitely do.
exactly. And I tell you that, and then it's so it's some books that I'm just like. Well, I would say the majority of my books, I was like the majority of my books that I put out, I'm so content with it and where it's at. Even if I like I say, if I read it again, I'm like, oh, I could have did this, but I'm satisfied. So,
Exactly.
and I can tell, like those the ones the readers really get behind. They love it, and I'm just like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I knew y'all was gonna love this too, because I love it too.
Yep.
I
Except
know
for we
y'all.
don't love Michael. We don't love Katrina.
She said,
We
I got
don't
a
love
list of
Cat.
ops from your catalog.
We don't love Quincy. I can go on and on.
She going down the line. Like
I'm going down the
You got
line.
them loaded, locked and
Yeah.
loaded.
Yeah, you know what, Alexandra? I've never read a book like I've never read any of your characters, and I'd be like, what the hell was she thinking when she wrote this person? I haven't come
Right.
across one yet.
If if
When
you
you
go,
Yeah, I haven't come across one yet.
there be some. They're usually side characters, and I feel like sometimes the main characters make decisions that we wouldn't agree
Mhm.
with. But overall, I just be like, people this how they
Oh,
come. They gotta come.
wait,
That's
now
how
we
they
do
come.
got one. We do got one, but I'm gonna wait before I get on her.
Wait a
I
minute, let me
was
think. Let me think which book she in.
like, that
Because
should
we
come
probably
so
thinking about the
easy.
same person.
Look, that should come so easy.
I
She in
know.
book two. She in book two.
I knew it. I'm sitting up here like I know it's in book
She
two.
is in 2 minute warning. So listen,
Uh,
I do
mm-hmm.
have one because
Yeah,
baby,
yeah,
we gonna talk
Oh, I
about her.
wasn't a fan of Enzo, little punk
Oh,
ass Chauncey
yeah.
self.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's like deliberate villains versus like the main people that you post to like and still don't like. Like those are
Yeah.
two different categories.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do right here. We're gonna take a quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to get into your books. Because if the readers listen, well, they are the readers. The readers and the listeners don't know. We are talking about your Skyhawk series, which is based on love and football. And I cannot wait because it is Can't Catch Me, 2 minute warning, and then you have your Skyhawk adjacent novella, which you just released called Hail Mary. So we got to get into all of that, but we will get into it right after the break. I'm going to read the synopsis for Can't Catch Me, and we will talk about that book, and then we will keep on trucking through the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all.
Roxanne, love to play with my fans. Rock fits toxic. I'm her number one fan. Not petty, so jelly when she making that jam. What I want to be your man, but she got way better plans. Roxanne, love to play with my fans. Rock fits toxic. I'm her number one fan. Not petty, so jelly when she making that jam. What I want to be your man, but she got way better plans. Like dick.
Hey Untameables, it's Kiana Dene, poet and author. Just wanted to stop by and ask, have any of you read any of my poetry lately? If not, you can pick up my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere else you get your books, and of course my website at kianadene.wordpress.com. Now back to the show.
Hello, hello, and we are back. And during the break, you heard a little snippet from Alan Ward called Roxanne. And I want to just take the time out right here to say if you are a music creator and you would like your song showcased on the Get Caught Up podcast, just send us a 20 to 30-second snippet at, excuse me, at Get Caught Up Podcast 1 at gmail.com, and we will get it on the show. So we are back with Alexandra Warren. And you guys, we got 3 books to get through. So I am going to and I'm gonna listen, we're gonna try to keep it in a timely fashion. But these books are good. If y'all haven't read them, first of all, spoiler alert. So
There
that's
will be
number
spoiler
one.
alerts.
There will be spoilers. So number two, we're gonna try not to spoil the whole experience for you. But number two, rap series is like what you waiting on? For real. Like why are you waiting on this? Stop
Yeah.
sleeping if you have not. Stop sleeping. If it's in your catalog, go ahead and move it on up your TV on this.
I love this. Yes, yes. Speak it up. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back and enjoy this. Yes.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Go ahead and move it up. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, if you do not have an audiobook, I'm just gonna encourage you to go ahead and grab the audio.
Please
Read
do.
the words, but please listen to it. It's an experience. It is an experience. So this is Can't Catch Me. Returning to her hometown was not the plan, and neither was falling for her former best friend. Brianna Hayes can't seem to catch a break. The job offer she expected after taking an unpaid internship at a major shoe company didn't come through. The friend who'd offered her a place to stay suddenly gave her 48 hours to vacate after a misunderstanding. And when she's forced to move back to her hometown to live with her father and his mistress turned wife, it almost seems impossible for things to get any worse. Until she runs into her former best friend, who's only gotten fine with time.
Mm.
Yes, he did. With his 6th season as the starting linebacker for his hometown, Houston Skyhawks, on the horizon. The only thing Lance Hawkins is looking forward to is another year of getting paid and chasing accolades. But when he discovers that the girl he once his best friend is back in the city, he quickly finds himself intrigued by a different kind of pursuit after seeing how attractive she's gotten. Even with the fallout of the past, their undeniable chemistry as friends makes it impossible for the two of them to remain distant. And once romantic feelings get involved, it doesn't take long for Brianna and Lance to find themselves on a journey of not only reestablishing what once was, but also exploring what could be.
Oh.
So, y'all,
Mm, mm, mm.
listen.
I love that y'all both did the
Lance.
same thing. I both just like, yes, that's what I
Yes.
want my book to do. So thank you for that. Yes.
You welcome. Yeah. Because it's like they were best friends. And then, like a lot of people don't like the friends to lovers trope. I love the friends to lovers trope. And I tell people all the time, I love it because friends make better lovers. When you are
Yes.
friends first, you have such a better relationship as love because y'all can talk about things, you can share things, and that's what I love. Now, she didn't do too much sharing on here because she did do some stuff that was kind of suspect, but
Yeah.
that's part of, she won what she won and not taken away from what he wanted. So that's what I'm gonna say right now.
That's what I'm saying right now. So, as we read in the I read it, but we read it together.
Yes.
In the synopsis, she had a career, was trying to get a career with a shoe company, a tennis shoe company. What I love about you, and this has not failed me yet with every book that I've read from you, you always give the women these great but very unique careers. And I'm just like, how did you land on making her a tennis shoe designer? And of course, that's another kind of male dominated area as well.
Yep.
So, how did you land on this career choice? How do you land on any of your career choices? Because you be picking like the greatest careers that have.
She's
that we
had
don't
a woman
see.
coach. She's had a newscaster. She's had a WNBA star. Like, yeah, you do it all.
You pick these careers that we don't read about all the time.
Right.
And it's like, and I know that a ton of research has to go into it. So, like, what made you land particularly on Brianna's career?
Yeah, I feel like because stuff just sticks in my, like I'll see something and then it'll just come back to me later. And so I feel like I saw somebody who was designing shoes and just thought like, oh, that would be a really, cool career at some point. And then when they got to Brianna, it was like, okay, she's been gone, but what was she gone doing? What's something that would have really, to this place post college and all these other things. And it's like, okay, well, I know in Oregon, Nike's in Oregon. Oh, what if, then it's like starts firing all together of like, oh, remember that shoe designer? Okay, that would be somewhere in Oregon too. And that's kind of how it came together for Brianna. But yeah, I think it's just, you can have the usual things and the normal careers and all those are fine too. But I feel like it adds another dimension when you're not only teaching people about, this romance, but also teaching people about these different career fields. Like that's fun for me to do the deep dives and go on the Google searches and go on the YouTube, watches and all these other things and really dive into these unique careers.
I would just say this for you. I feel like, especially for new authors or any authors, you should really do a segment on research because your research be phenomenal, like on point. Like, yes, top tier, because you would think like, dang, did she do this? Did she do that? Like, you really, like, you be on point, the words and everything. And I know I've seen videos before, which you're talking about, doing your research and things like that. But no, it definitely be, I'd be like, dang, she must have been a hell of a student athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
you want to know what it really is, though, is that I always imagine the expert in whatever field I'm trying to convey reading this book and being like, no, that wouldn't happen. No, that's not right. No, that right. I would hate for that to be. I mean, it's kind of like when doctors watch Grey's Anatomy and they're like, oh my God, they would never do that in the hospital. Da, 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 da. Like when people read my books, I don't want them to have that. Some stuff we have to embellish just because of the flow of the story. But I want experts to be able to read it and think, oh yeah, this sounds like what I do for real.
And that's so true, because it's so funny, like I said, with the because I think you had wrote something about, it was something about basketball. So my son played he played football, he played basketball, he ran track. So his goal was like, when I'm watching basketball, I can know what they're doing, the fouls they're going to call, things like that, because he showed me. The same thing with football. He tried to show me how to read plays, and I was like, you're doing too much.
Oh my God, it's like gibberish. Like what?
Yes, it really is. It's too much. But you had put something in, and I called him and read it. He was like, did she play football? I was like, no. And that's how, like, I knew. I was like, okay, she researching, because I read it 2 times because I couldn't understand it. And I had to ask him, and he was like, nah, she wrote it like she playing, like she played. So, kudos to your research.
And that's a good piggyback, because that was one of my next questions, because I was like, now I'm a football fanatic. So I kind of, for me, when I read the Skyhawks series, I really was enthralled with it because of all of the terminology and all of like the entirety of how you encompass the game itself. Like, and if people like who have not read this, when I say you went into detail, and not just like it wasn't like, I could tell it wasn't written as where it's like, okay, bullet point. No, it was written as if like we were living their lives in this world of football. Like, we were living these athletes' lives.
Like we was on a football field.
As we were professional athletes. But it was on and off the field. Like the things in between they were off the field. Like the meetings they had when they were at practice and all of this stuff. Like after the game when they were doing interviews. And it was so on target. So did you pick this up because you're a football fanatic, or did you really like research every aspect of this career?
So it was a little bit of both. I've always watched football. My dad was like a youth little league football coach. So our Sundays were spent at the field. Our evenings were spent at the practices. My brother played football through college, and so I would always go to his games. My partner, he played football since forever. He played all the way up into like semi-professional league. And so I've always been around football. I've always enjoyed football. But then there's like the hidden part of the NFL that I really had to research. Like, and so when you talk about the interviews and the meetings and the, you know, how they're interacting in practice and how they're interacting, you know, on the sidelines and all those things. That really took like a lot of YouTube watching, a lot of like, you know, some of these players have like day in the life YouTube channels and stuff like that. So I would watch a lot of those. And then just observing when I'm actually watching football games, like, okay, yes, the game is happening, but what else is going on? Because there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
There was some of that. They have the Hard Knocks series on HBO, which is like
that's so good.
Behind the scenes thing. And so I would watch some of that just to like get myself in the groove of, you know, the football experience. So yeah, there's a lot of different factors, but at the core, I am a football fan. So that helps.
So I have to say, because you said something real quick that triggered it. The funniest person, like, I have never seen this man play a day in my life, but when I say I am a huge Marshawn Lynch fan,
you were gonna say him.
Huge. to sit and look at his videos. So one day I think I was up to like 3:00 in the morning, and it was just like watching his interviews. Like if you do another player, you know, you add another Skyhawks, just give me a scene from him and his interviews, because when I say he had an interview and everything was like, yes, no,
I'm just here.
You gonna elaborate? No.
Yes.
Yes. It was the funniest thing in the world, and I was like, yeah, because like he said, I don't want to be fined. So and that's the thing. It drives me crazy that I didn't sit here and play the whole game, and you want me to sit and talk to y'all. I would have probably been like, yep, too.
When they lose, it's so just invasive. And I know that, you know, they try to be professionals and they give you the professional rehearsed answers, and I think even some of that was included in maybe 2-minute warning, where it's just like, I have to give these rehearsed answers because that's what we're here to do. I don't really want to be here.
At all. So my first question is for you is, I was going to do one question first. I think I'm going to do this one, then go back to that one. So why didn't Brianna tell Lance her plans for college? And would she have acted differently if he would have did that to her?
I think part of it was a lot was going on in Brianna's life at the time. And so it wasn't like it was like intentional malice. I don't like you, so I'm not going to tell you. It just kind of played out that way. And it's like, how, like, knowing my best friend, how is he going to handle this in this time of his life at this point in our lives? As you know, you're 17, 18 years old, getting ready to go to college. And so that's just a real tender time. So that I think that's really what it was, is just that there was so much going on in her life, and she just decided to make a decision for herself, which, you know, some people do, and she does multiple times. Like, that's just who
she definitely do. Yes. So that's where it segued kind of into my second question, since you said because she had so much going on in her life, like her and her mother's relationship. So, you know, I think I've shared with people before, I didn't have like the best relationship with my mother growing up, like at all. We butted heads. So to read that, I like, oh gosh, like now as an adult who doesn't have her mother anymore, I'm just like, when I hear people say they're having a hard time with their mother, I just be like, fix it. It's going to be hard, but just fix it. Because if you don't fix it and she leave, it's going to be like, well, damn. And I say that because I didn't get that chance to do that. So it's just like, you know, so when I saw it in the book, it's just like, what was up with her and her mother's relationship? I mean, like, I know you went into the book, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they both were stubborn. And then when her mother came around, she was just like, no, she still kind of didn't trust her. Was that the case?
Absolutely. I think, like I said, we have to put ourselves into our teenage bodies and how we would feel if, you know, we're faced with this tough decision. My parents are going through a divorce, and now I have to choose where to live. And it's my senior year, so I want to stay, you know, where I'm at, but I also don't want to hurt your feelings. But I have to hurt your feelings if I stay where I'm at, and making that decision, and how we would feel if, because of that decision, our parents chose to, you know, kind of push us away and act like we don't exist anymore, because we had to make a really tough decision as a teenager. And so I feel like Brianna held on to that for a while, and it continued to be a thing. I mean, like, I think she talked about like her not coming to track meets and not coming to
nothing.
And all these things. She had a reason to hold on to this, you know, to those feelings until her mother, you know, kind of comes around and starts to address some of the things, and they start slowly rebuilding their relationship. So yeah, it's hard, and people go through those things, but
and I think it was at one point when you had her dad step in, and I did love that, because it's like, at what part was you going to say, look, little girl, you need to get it together? It's like, she's trying. It's better late than never. And that's what I try to tell people. You know, like if it is, you know, you're going through that situation, it's better late than never.
Absolutely.
Like, and she tried. Yes, she tried years too late, but she did try. And like I said, I did, and kind of like that you put that in there. And I love it, the fact too, because sometimes we always say in the book it's the dad, but to also see that mothers do it too. Mothers do it too. They don't want to be bothered.
And it's funny because we often talk about, you know, and I think that comes from the deadbeat dad, you know, phenomenon that's happened. But we don't, you know, dive into the fact that there's a lot of kids out here that's dealing with mama hurt, you know. And so I like that you displayed that in the story, because that's a very real thing. And oftentimes it cuts deeper, because you grow up knowing that your mother is supposed to be the nurturing one, right? You know, that's just the kind of, because women by nature are nurturers, you know, and so
some of us aren't.
That,
and some of us aren't.
You witness that oftentimes, like through teachers or other kids' parents, and it's like, well, my mama ain't like this, you know. So you know, it hits a little different, because unfortunately, you know, it's easier to run across men who are not involved, or, you know, their mindset, even if they're there, their mindset is, okay, I need to work or to be the protector. I'm not here to nurture you. But you see that more so, you see that nurturing side more so for women. So then when you can't like connect it with your own mother, that can be very painful. You know, very
it really can. Yeah, it can. It definitely can. And like, I think it's not even just the pain, it's the hurt and the anger. Because then, like, you deal with the pain, and then you go with the anger, and then, you know, the anger always outweigh the pain.
Yeah.
With a lot of people, it's just like, oh gosh, I can't stand this lady. She gets on my nerves. Blah blah blah. So you know, it's a lot.
We give our we give mothers hell, because daddy can do whatever he want to do. Let mama not. She hurt your feelings one good time, and she done kill, like she done ruin your entire world.
Yes, that is so true.
Because your mama done hurt your feelings.
That is so true. So my other question was, why was it so important for Brianna to chase her dreams when she started her own business on social media, and it was doing well, paying her well?
I think, which I feel like I should have done a better job at, actually, on this book. We talked about that earlier, like, oh, read it back in. And I should have done a better job of depicting how overwhelmed she was doing that. Like she talked about it a little bit, like, oh, all these goals I have to fulfill and all this work that goes into being an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur is very hard. It takes so much, especially when you're doing it all by yourself. Like, it's so many different things you just have to do all the time. And so I feel like that was really what went into her decision, was like, okay, I have this opportunity to do the job that I wanted from the very beginning. You know, obviously she got passed over for whatever reason, but I have this opportunity to do the actual job that I want to do versus having to be an entrepreneur, which is a totally different thing. And so that's why she went after the Nike job when she finally got offered.
So this is my thing, and this is my takeaway from that. No, you did that phenomenally. I just wanted to, maybe, you know, if any other people had those questions, but that was something that kind of lingered in my head.
I saw that, and like I said, once I saw that being some of the response, I was like, oh, that's on me. I should have done a better job of making people understand that we're talking about an entrepreneurship versus, you know, a career, where a career, you know, some people, you know, you work after hours or whatever, but a career, you leaving at the job, versus taking on entrepreneurship, which becomes this 24-hour thing, and that's, it's just completely different. So.
Well, I blame that on her internship, because y'all let her go. You did not see her success. You didn't see what her potential was or what she can do until she was gone and when it started her own business. So that's the fault of that internship. Whoever she had sucked. or they might have seen what she can do and was like, oh, well, I don't want her taking my job. But like one thing I can say as a takeaway from that is if you do have something that you know you good at, who cares if the person over top of you is saying, oh, we don't need your help? No, you still show it. And that's something I had to learn at work. And it's so funny. I was just talking to a friend and she was like, why won't you go for a leadership role? I said, because it's stressful. And I'm at a point in my life, I ain't letting nobody stress me out no more. But I know I can do the work. So if you can't, and that's how I feel like if you can do the work, if somebody passes over you on an opportunity, still go, she continued to do what she wanted to do. And she showed that, oh, I'm great at what I want to do. So that's the message.
I'm good at this regardless of the mission, but.
And they recognized her. It wasn't when she wanted it, but they recognized her.
Exactly.
But like I say, I love this story because we got some football, we got some love, we got, forgiveness, we got growth, everything. But what I love the most from this book is when she took that job and went back home and Lance was like, oh, we're going to make this work. And he showed her. And he showed her. So
he listen. I love how he stood it again. Lance was like, "Hey,
yes,
we're gonna do this. You're not getting away.
You're not again. I'm not letting this happen again." So I mean, kudos to you with this book because I loved it. It was just like I said, so many little messages, and those messages to me, and I've said this before, it comes from growth. So when you somebody who's constantly working on yourself, you see the bad and then you see the good of it. And like I said, the situation with Brianna and her mother is like a situation with me, and getting to see that is just like, yep, I'm glad she fixed it. Glad she fixed it.
Thank you.
Listen. I didn't show this like I was supposed to before I read it. So I'm just going to show y'all the cover of the book we were talking about, which is Can't Catch Me. So
it's the chest for me. It's them 6 packs.
Always the chest and the abs. Gotta go to the chest and the abs.
I tell you what,
he was doing his crunches.
these good look. Now them men's in these books.
This next book we about to talk about, this the man. This little young boy is the man.
Listen, y'all, look, I can't even got me scratching my head. Jesus Christ. I'm acting like Drea now. Oh.
I ain't gonna let you go out like that. We can just talk about it. We can look, but we can't touch.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I would have reached out and touched Kendall Snoop Dogg.
And you know what is so funny? I kept on saying, my son is this age. My son is this age. My son is this age.
I'm trying to tell you, I don't know, if it was a real Kendall Snoop Dogg
my son is this age. Right. I'm still gonna say it.
Look, I've been trying to say it. I had to say it in my head, like, oh, my son this age. My son close to this age. He's not quite. He's close.
No, my son is that age.
That's the thing. You just gotta eliminate that aspect. Like, okay, this is a grown man. This is a grown man.
That's a philosophy in my head. I will not talk to nobody who are my children's age.
In real life, but I'm talking about in book life. It's like, this is a grown.
Oh man. Yeah, no. And look.
Oh, in book life, yeah, but in real life,
in book life, he was bad, but he one of them few that I'd have been like, you know what? I'm over it.
Yeah, because I take home and she said, you ain't read Kendall Snoop Dogwood yet? I said, no. She said, read him. Read him.
The funniest part about it is, I know the title of this book is 2 Minute Warning, but that is how I refer to you. Hadn't read Kendall Snoop Dogwood.
Yeah, she did not say the title of the book. She said Kendall Snoop Dogwood.
She's talking about that main
read him.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, this book was forever. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I love him. He is like one of the classic book bays. So let me read the synopsis of the book so we can get into him. Because I tried to formulate some questions that didn't sit around Snoop, but
it was so hard.
I guess it was so hard.
Yes.
It's so hard. But here is the synopsis, you guys. There's a lot that can happen in 2 minutes to live. Absolutely it can.
Yes, it can.
Period.
Nobody automatically went to what he said.
Yes.
What can happen in just 2 minutes. Okay, Kendall. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. I'm telling y'all, listen, I'm a fangirl over this.
I'm here
Mm-hmm.
for it. I am here for it because Snoop deserves. But let me let
He
you know.
definitely do.
He does. He is such a sweetheart. Okay.
Oh,
Kendall Snoop Dogwood has something to prove. He proved it to me. I don't care if he proved it right.
he really did. No, let me tell you, he proved it before the end of the end of chapter 1 for me. The
It's
end
the
of
pause
chapter
at the end of
1.
every line to insert. Yes, he did prove. Like
He proved.
Mm-hmm.
He proved. He came to show and prove. Okay.
Yes, he did.
And he did. Okay. After a devastating ending to his first year with the Houston Skyhawks, getting redemption is the only thing on the veteran quarterback's mind coming into the new season. But when a picture of him and a woman he barely knows but wants to get to know goes viral on social media, it doesn't take long before Kendall finds himself on a different kind of mission going into year 2, a mission to pursue her. As a social media influencer and the daughter of a well known sports bettor, Shakira Kiki Knight is used to seeing her face tied to all sorts of internet gossip. What she's not used to is having an actual crush on whoever she's rumored to be involved with. But when it comes to Kendall Dogwood, Shakira just can't seem to contain her attraction, especially when she learns that the Skyhawks quarterback is equally interested in her.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the girl, yes, Lord, considering the messy way in which her last relationship with NFL player ended, it's probably the last man Shakira should be checking for. And after Shakira's sports gambling ties are unveiled, the conflict of interest makes her the woman Kendall should probably be avoiding at all costs. But the instant chemistry between the two of them makes both of those things worth looking past for the sake of being together until the stakes get higher and there's more than just a game on the line. So that is 2 minute warning.
Man, man, shake and Snoopy, shake and Snoopy,
Yeah.
love
Lord,
them
let
real
me tell
bad.
y'all something.
shake and
I could
Snoopy.
not get enough of them with that freaky deaky talk.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's the perfect promo for why you need the audio because you need to hear Jacoby say that line specifically.
Freaky deaky
Say
talk.
yes, yes. Because he delivered that. His voice dropped a little bit deep
He
too.
put
It was
everything
like,
he had into that one. I had to run that back a
yes,
couple times. Like, oh, he went there. He took it all the way there.
he sure did. Mm-hmm.
When he said that, I can't tell you how many times I went back and was like, that was the most hilarious and fitting
It sure
moment in the
was.
world. Like he
Mm.
picks up, he does a great. Like we need 1 second to talk about this couple because y'all, he picks up him, Wesley. It's a few of them. They pick up those very intricate details. They just make the audio so memorable, and that was
Yeah,
definitely one of those
One of those
moments.
ones.
one of those
So,
moments.
oh my goodness, but y'all, okay. I can't even like begin to tell y'all how much I love this whole series, but it is something I don't know what kind of extra spice that you stirred up around for Kendall. Snoop
I don't know where that little boy came from. Where did that little boy come from?
Listen, I was like, Lord, please go ahead and rename me Shakira.
Shakira.
She said I need to go ahead and be her because this.
Mm-hmm.
I need all this.
That man loved him some Shakira.
He absolutely
Loved him some Shakira.
this is what I love about him because he was so respectful. You made him just the epitome of, even with his old hateful ass sister. When he got in arguments with Shakira, I promise you. Now Shakira maybe want to shake her a little bit sometimes, when they have arguments. But I'll be ready for him to be like, oh, hold on, go off about her daddy or go off, and he would just buckle down, grit his teeth, even if he said something, he tried to layer it with respect. And I was like, as much as I wanted to see him one good time, be like, F your dad.
Something like he never got out of character.
He never got out of pocket because he was like, in his heart of hearts, he's like, that's still her dad. And even though I might have wanted that just for selfish reasons, it was like I had to step back and be like, he is so respectful. So why was that important for you as a writer to maintain him in this way?
It's funny that you pointed out like how he responded to the whole thing with her dad, because as I was writing, I felt myself wanting to do that, but it was because I wanted to do that, like how I would respond and like be upset and all these other things. And I'm like, but that's not him. That's not who he is. Like how would he respond? I feel like as NFL players, like athletes get this certain, persona, and a lot of them, that's true. Like,
right.
But for some of them are just like cool guys that are just living their lives and just happen to play football. And I feel like Snoop is a guy that just lives his life and happens to play football. And so, he was raised right. So he had no reason to be acting like that. He respects women in all capacities. So he wouldn't have no reason to be overreacting like that or reacting, in a way that wasn't with respect. And he is a quarterback. So I feel like as a quarterback, you have to be composed even in pressure situations. And so that's how he approached, a lot of things, including that situation with her dad, was to be composed under this pressure of trying to figure out and trying to troubleshoot, okay, what can actually be done to improve the situation instead of just like, all right, well, F your dad, bye. Like,
right. Because baby, when she had that attitude with him, because he eloquently explained to her, like, this is what's going on. And your daddy was into betting. Come on.
Right. And he was wrong.
It's like, it's not a good look, and he was explaining that to her. And she was like, well, I don't know how my daddy came. I was like, tell her to leave her ass home.
Because I'm still trying to be with you though, so I can't have you too worried about that because I'm still trying to be with you. Right. So I'm a downplay, even though I understand it's a serious thing. Like there's obviously a conflict of interest here, but I still want to be with you, so I can't be acting like that's the biggest deal in the world. So yeah, that was definitely part of it.
He was so sweet because when she when she ran over there to that table when he was out in the middle with his baby sister.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, when I tell you the secondhand embarrassment as I was typing that scene was like painful. Like it was painful, but I had to do it because that's just where the situation was leading. But it hurt because I'm just like, oh my God, please stop. Like, please shut up. Please just go sit down. Please, like, and no, she
like, girl.
She doing the most. She was over there doing the most. And I was like, he is not gonna want her, but
I feel like it was not. I feel like it was. She couldn't do no wrong. I don't think she could do anything that make him say, "I don't want her."
Completely, no.
It was nothing she could do. Like that's why I said, I'm like, he was young. He had his head on straight. Like he didn't do certain things during the season. Like you said, he eat, sleep, shit, football, and loved this woman. And loved his family.
Drink and all that stuff. Like he was a class like A1 athlete. Like if you want to have someone on your roster, like, and this is in real life, like he was that person who took everything seriously. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I always akin him to the Tom Brady, attitude. Because Tom Brady was like that.
No, we're not. Because that I was about to call.
Look, she don't like.
He cheated.
This is true. That part is not talked about. Him having that part is not.
Yeah, he cheated.
He did cheat.
So he is not. He ain't no straight laced man.
Being a football guy, being completely dedicated to football.
Yeah, being dedicated to football.
But he cheated
for himself.
Now I'm gonna say the person that I can say. I'm gonna say Eli Manning. I'll say Eli Manning.
Well, first
did he do? I'm trying to look. Let me think. Did he do one?
You know good well. You know I'm not about to agree with no Eli Manning because he played for the Giants. So don't even start with me on that one. Get out of the NFC East Conference.
It's so funny to hear y'all name different people because I'm like not who was in my head, but who was in my head as I was writing Snoop is currently an active quarterback.
Okay. Russell Wilson.
No, I'm trying to think. Let me. Jalen. What is his last name? Yes, I can see that.
Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you. So I kept I don't deal with the Eagles that much. Like I don't watch them like that. But I'm gonna tell you how I actually seen this man when he did the video for Tiana Taylor's.
Wasn't that so cute? Like it wasn't talking about enough.
And that's what made me say, okay, let me check out Jalen Hurts. But I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Where I feel like what we know of Jalen is just being a super poised guy.
Right.
Completely dedicated to football. He ain't in social media mess and none of that.
Stuff.
Like he just be living his life and playing football.
He ride for the good black women now. He do now.
He definitely do.
I will say this. Although Eagles are rivals, I won't lie. I am a Jalen Hurts fan. Like I really do like him. I was upset. I was like, listen, okay, y'all ain't gonna make me hate the Eagles.
I learned with football, and I've learned this from my son. You can like the players individually. He be like, Mom, you don't have to like the whole team. You can like the players. So that's what I've learned. Like it's like I said, I ain't never seen Marshawn Lynch play a day in his life, but I love beast mode. Yeah, I love me some beast mode. Like, so I definitely get that.
This just another person who had a very good football acumen was Marshawn Lynch too.
Yes,
so, like,
yes.
Even though he was a running back, he could have played linebacker the way he used to run through people.
Right.
He was, when they say beast mode, he really was. Like he was
beast mode.
He was one of those people who he was rare. He was a rare talent. Absolutely. And I love. And my son is a Seahawks fan. My baby son is. So they were winning when he was smaller. So that's how that became his best, like his favorite team. Marshawn. And the whole was it Legion of Boom? That's all his people. He loved Richard Sherman. He loved Cam Chancellor. He loves Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson. So he's just an adamant fan, and so I had to endure the Seahawks. I still have to endure the Seahawks now. So yes, but it is amazing. But yes, when you said as soon as I was like, if it ain't Russell Wilson, it's got to be Jalen Hurts because Kendall was just, oh my gosh. When I tell you, like you said, just super composed all the way around, and that made a lot of sense. When you said, about quarterbacks have to be, poised and handle pressure, they would, if you're really that person to that core, it's going to bleed over into your everyday life.
Yeah,
that is it's a mindset thing. So now let me talk about the person who won damn poise. His sister. Okay.
Bitter Betty.
Big sis.
I was gonna say, let's be specific. Big sis, because little sis is that's different.
Oh, I loved him. I loved him and his little sister's relationship. They had the cutest relationship. Yes.
Big sis. Miss Kimberly, she was over the doggone top now. I just was like, so what irritated me about Kimberly was that off rip, without knowing two cents about Shakira, she was just like, oh, she a hoe, she this, she that. Wait a minute, girl. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you went all the way in. I'm like, you're a black woman coming at this other lady who has not done anything. Like, the
Nothing
thing
to
that was
you.
crazy,
Mm-hmm.
she hadn't done anything to her, and Shakira had not been rumored to be in any kind of mess. She was a social media influencer,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but outside of being in a relationship with Enzo, there was nothing messy, that she had really been associated with. So why did she like take it there? And that also led me to another thought. It's like, do we think these social media influencers get like a bad rep just because that's what their career is?
That's exactly what it is. I feel like as people who watch the influencers, we put what we want, like we fill in the blanks of who they are sometimes. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or they could just be the person that they're showing. Like they could just be somebody who likes their little outfits and likes to travel and likes to do these things. But because somebody is pretty and they date an athlete, I feel like a lot of times that they just get a bad rap automatically. And so the date two is like, oh, that's her thing. Like she's just chasing the bag or whatever. And it's like, oh, these are just people that she like. Like there's two sides to
Evelyn Lozado, Drea.
yeah, right. Some because like I said, it's true for some people, but some people
Mm-hmm.
happens to be the situation, and that just happens to be who they're attracted to. That just happens to be the environments that they're in to even come across these people. And so I was like, okay, the influencer trope gets this thing put on them for whatever reason, true or false or
Yeah.
indifferent. They get this thing put on them, and if somebody only thinks about them as that, how would they react to them dating their rich brother? And Kimberly's reaction was very authentic to sometimes I guess I would like compare it to what you see in the comments on a shade room post or something like that. Like
Yeah.
automatically jump off the edge based on one or two pictures or whatever. They're gonna take it to the first extent just because people be bored instead of like actually even knowing these people, because you don't know these people. We don't know these people. And so it was important for me to showcase that, yes, influencers do put their lives on social media, but you still don't know these people. And so to judge them based off of what you think you know because of what you saw is unfair.
But
Exactly.
I like the way you did it, because the way we saw Shakira on social media, she kind of was like that in real life. She wasn't over the top flashy. She was herself. And I feel like when you are a social media influencer and you yourself is more authentic. Like I
Yeah.
follow, I don't know, I follow this family, because at first when I first followed them, they was just a couple. Now they have a baby.
Mhm.
Bur I Am, and it's Amber and Ben and Wild. When I say I love them, like she's a black woman married to a white man. They got an
Oh,
interracial
yeah,
baby.
BYN Ben, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love them, but she just said for 2024, she went through her follow page and like her list, and she was like, I'm not following people. If I don't do this, I'm not following them. So if I don't go get plastic surgery to fix anything, I'm gonna unfollow them, because that's all they talk about. If I don't have a BBL, I'm gonna unfollow them. And I kind of like that because she's authentic. And then, so she doesn't shave. She has a lot of hair on her arms, you can see it. So she was just saying how people was, getting on her about, dang, are you gonna, shave your arms? She said, look, this is a type of page where I don't shave my arms. She just listed things that she don't do, and I love that. And like I said, I be up to like 2 o'clock in the morning watching all her stuff because she's hilarious. But those are the type of influencers. Because that's what the word is, influencers. So they're supposed to influence us. I don't want to follow nobody that go get BBLs. My butt big and real. Why am I to follow you? You paid to get what I got. So, I kind of agree with how you did her, and I loved it because, some of them, I don't think they all that smart either, but we got to see the business side of her too.
They get
So
to
we
learn
got
about
to see,
like
like we can
totally
see how she
different.
was making her money, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was
Yes.
really just bringing because like I said, I feel like because of how some influencers are, all influencers get this bad rap, and I was like, that's not
Yeah.
fair. And especially with a lot of them being women, like I don't want to promote that. No, these are like real women with real acumen and real skill. Like this is a skill to be doing content. Like content is really hard. I don't know how many people are excited, but creating content is really hard and it's really
it really is.
And so to kind of put some respect on that, because I just feel like they get a
lot to be consistent with it, even if you can, is that's the next.
My friend called me on Sunday and called me out. She was like, I know you got more pictures than what you posted for your trip when you went to Barcelona and Lisbon. I said, I do. She said, well, where are they? I said, girl, do you know how long it takes to sit still and put that together?
I'm telling you, it's
content.
It's a job. It's a job.
Yes, that's a job and a job.
Look, we can bring that back to the podcast because we do like new book release. We do one episode. We announce these new book releases, and so for the past year, we've probably gotten up to like 20 something. And so Crystal says, I got 48 books. I was like, girl, I'm not doing a video.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen her text me back.
She said that was enough. Nope.
Yeah, because I counted so I know where I want to stick my commercial in. And when I did that, I said, damn, 28? I never had a video one time. That was a lot. And I was like, y'all not getting no synopsis. I literally said, y'all won't be getting no synopsis because I got a lot of them.
We're just gonna run down this list real quick.
Yes, I gave y'all a little bit, but that's about it. 48.
As soon as she texted me, she was like, I got 48 books. My mind started going to, because I put together a video of the covers, you know, to like just show the authors and say, hey, we announced your book. And she said 48. My mind started going to
like I'm gonna have to do what? I'm telling you, as the person that does the Girl Have You Read new release list every
yes
week, when it be hitting them 35, 40 books, that's typically when the list gonna come out on Tuesday or Wednesday, because I see how many there is, and I'm just like, this is too much. I just can't do this right now. Like I have to sit down and focus to go through that many.
Yes, that is a lot. I'm let me see if I can sit still, because that means I gotta. One thing I do use my saved on Instagram. So as I see, you know, the authors posting the books coming out, I just save it. So I like my saved. If I do a video on my saved, y'all gonna be like, you need help. It got books, it got travel, it got food, it got everything in it. But I love it because I can go back and see it.
Right. As we sat here and talked, I thought about a way to still kind of incorporate it that would be a little bit, that would make my life easier. But look, I was just like, Lord, but I kudos you because that we didn't get a chance to dive into that. But girl, I know you get a lot. I personally submitted myself, so
and I'm about to say, you know, I save every last one that you post because I go back and look for the books, and especially if it's new authors. So, like, that's another thing that I have in my saved. All of y'all girls,
your release post.
Yes, when I share it, I save it.
Listen, we love to hear it being used. Like I said, it's truly a labor of love. I love doing it. As a reader first, I love seeing what else is out there new. Ooh, that cover is cute. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, this that's what I'm experiencing as I'm putting it together. Like I said, the more new releases, the better for y'all. So I'll
yes, I was like, as soon as I was like, oh, I'm not doing the video.
You know, to be honest, I was excited to see that many because I said, oh, I need to reach out to Girl Have You Read and see how we getting all these people, because like I said, I look all the time. Like I already have books saved for November of 2024. Ooh. When I see authors posted, I save it. And so my list says all the way up to December 2024 releases. But I love it because, like you say, it's just putting out that labor of love, saying, oh, this book is coming out. And I'm like, so many people like, thank you so much. But yeah, this list this month, I was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Like I said, y'all was busy. Folks was busy in February. Y'all was putting out them books.
I almost passed out when she texted me 48 books. I was like,
like 40 what?
Yep, 48. I said, oh.
I was like, oh my God, I support y'all and I love y'all, but I'll figure it out. We'll still do it. We'll
Yeah,
get a
it'll
good
come on a day
video
where you just
out.
got a little more energy than before. You're like, okay, let me go ahead and do it right now, because
Yes, yes.
Because this was not the day.
Well, you know what? Just send me the template. Now, it might take me a couple of days to get through it.
Now we'll do a different template, so
Okay.
it'll be easier. So that's in the
Yes,
book. That's
yes.
consistency, but it'll be a different one. So now when we were talking about Shakira, though, we're talking about how she doesn't present. I love the fact that she could cook, because that was another thing. Like, you really use certain factors that would
Mm-hmm.
really humanize her and would be so unexpected. Because I found myself, when I found out she can cook, going, dang, she can cook. Like, oh,
Like you
I was
shocked, right?
shocked. Like, I was shocked. So that little nugget, it added such character to her. Now, was that intentional to like bring a softer side of her, or bring like a side to her that wouldn't be, because she was into fashion, that was her thing. And so
Yep.
you have a certain stigma, like you said, it automatically clicks. And I found myself in that stigma, because when I found out she could cook, I was like, oh.
yeah.
Oh, they can do other things besides stand and flick, flick, flick.
Right. Yeah. So it was a little bit of both. It was definitely to humanize it. I also just feel like it fit her. Like, she was just a very warm, nurturing person. She loves to have, her friends and family or whoever around, and all these
Love
things, and
that. Yes.
connect with food or with the party or with the kickback or whatever it was at the time. And so I feel like it just really fit her personality to be the one that would also be, sending her love through food for her community.
I love
Yes.
that you put that into that we got to see. Like, that's what I'm saying. I felt like you humanized social media, like social media influencers for me. Because now it's like, oh, I get to see more. We get to see the background. I feel like if a lot more social media influencers share that, that would probably make people think or look at them differently. But we got to see that in the book, and I really enjoyed that. Because it's like, her getting ready for photo shoots, her at the photo shoots, calling her friends. So let's come over because we need to hang out, like things like that. So I definitely enjoyed it. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Listen, hold
I
on. When
liked
you talked
her.
about her friends, I'm gonna tell y'all. Listen, when she thought she was texting her friends
Oh my God.
after hang.
Like I said, the painful secondhand embarrassment, that was Kiki night for sure. Like, my God.
And the fact Whit was so cute, and
It
it
was.
almost kind of even more embarrassing was that Kendall's reaction was like to just kind of smirk it off and was like, "Go ahead and talk to your friend."
Mhm.
Real casual. Yeah.
I would have preferred him to clown me. Just go ahead and clown me. You ain't sitting in
Yes.
Like, what you mean you ain't reacting? You ain't running. I just told these people that I'm in love with you, and you ain't running. Oh, you about to just lay in the bed and watch some highlights?
Because
Okay.
that man loved her already. He loved her when they sat there at that
Yeah.
very first party and talked and communicated. He already knew that was about to be his woman, that was about to be his forever. That was it. She was it. So he already knew. He just needed to convince her. That's all that was. And that's what I liked about him. Like, and sometimes like when we read, we can see it, but then we kind of like thinking, maybe not. No, with Kendall, I saw it. I was like, oh, he ain't chasing nobody else. He ain't playing with nobody else. He ain't got time for nobody else. It is nobody but Shakira, Kiki, Shake. Like, that was it. That was it.
For sure.
Like, Shake.
Mhm.
Them and they
Nickname for my
nicknames.
nickname.
Them and they nicknames.
Yes.
Girl, listen. Yes. Well, he can call me Seki anytime he wants.
He can also shake
Look,
me anytime he wants.
hey, because he was giving everything. Okay, like not just
Everything.
everything he was giving. He made sure, look, he was poised and all the things.
So true.
Now let's get into the person who won damn poised, Enzo. Why was he so damn pressed? Like, him and that girl went together. Why was he so pressed?
Because that's how they be.
Yeah.
when it didn't end how they wanted to end under their terms, they gonna be petty, they gonna be salty. And that was just his whole, like, even when Kendall is talking about him before he knew them as a couple or knew they were a couple, like he's like, he wasn't a good person. Like, and people that aren't good people are just going to not be good people in every situation that they're in. So yeah. And so
because they had a situation in Can't Catch Me, right? Like when they was out on the football field. Or was it just at the beginning of 2 Minute Warning?
I think it was just at the like when we get introduced to him in 2 Minute Warning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, when I saw that part, and then when they found out that they was together, I was like, oh Lord, that's gonna be trouble. He gonna be difficult.
And so, and then too, to have him say like what he said about Kendall's dad.
And he said, not a good person.
He should have. Yeah, he wasn't planted his ass on that damn turf. Like, oh my gosh, Now I did not mind him losing his cool on Enzo.
The one time we see it, right, is that like,
and I'm glad he did.
Yeah, everybody understood under those specific circumstances. Yes,
he did, and he needed to. So listen, I gotta ask, what did he say to Enzo?
That's funny you ask. I never like thought about what the exact sentence would be, but I just imagine him like very calmly being like, you mess with my people again, you mess with Shakira again, you ever talk to Shakira again, you do any of these things, I'm on your ass. Like, I just feel like that would, like, but he would put it so calmly and eloquently that you would be more shook that he was that calm saying that. And so so I feel like it was something along those lines.
And I'm about to say, those type of people, if they come at you calm, those are the ones you should be scared of.
Exactly.
Because, like, for them to come and have to raise their voice a little bit, like when you've never seen them do that, and when they come at you, I'll be like, all right, you got it, my nigga.
Yeah. Like,
you got it. Yeah.
I'm a little afraid now. So, yes.
Right.
Whatever you say.
Listen, he should have been out there snatching off that dog on him and is slinging it like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
that part was fun to write, and it also required a lot of research because I'm like, okay, what kind of trouble do people get in for this? Like, how much would they get fined for something like this? So that's when I end up on the NFL websites looking at different fines and all these different things. So
see, it's the research for me. You like to sit there. Like, how long do you research before you even start writing a book?
It just comes as I'm writing, is what it is. And
okay.
So I'll start thinking of something that I'm about to type and like, would that even make sense? Could that even play out this way? Or what would actually be the way that this plays out? And then I do the research and I come back to actually write it.
Okay, because see, I thought I was crazy because I was writing a scene. Do you know I literally sat and watched the video over and over again so I can learn the dance moves of what they were doing? Like, so I'm just like, this is over the top. But like you said, you want it to make sense and you want to be like, oh, I can do that. Exactly. So yeah. I definitely
football plays and stuff like that. Like, I know enough about football, but I also want to confirm what I know. It's kind of like when you say a word, and you're like, "Is that the right word?" And you look up the definition. Like that's that's football plays. It's like, okay, I know this could happen, but let me watch how this would happen or what these people would actually be doing in this scenario, so that it makes sense and it's translated how it's supposed to be in book form.
Yes, it's crazy. So let me ask you this now: Shakira and her father. The thing is, why didn't she believe that her father was a threat, and why did she trust him so much? Now that, especially since your father know that you're dating like a quarterback, a number one quarterback, the person who controls the ball, like, why did she trust him so much, and why did she believe that he wasn't that he was a threat?
I feel like as daddy's girls, I'm a daddy's girl. And I just feel like we always going to see our dad in the most positive light possible, no matter what's actually happening.
Right.
Like that's just how we see him. Like, that's just my daddy. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it was a lot of that of just saying, I only see this person one way, even when stuff is like getting a little shady. Like I'm still going to think about this person as a good person until they show me otherwise. Until I literally walk into my house and see you bleeding in the middle of the floor. Like, oh my God.
And then I'm gonna be mad because I'm like, now who's gonna clean this up?
Right. that's when it gets real for me. But I'm always still gonna think of you as just a good person. So I think that.
Yeah, and then like you said, for her to see him like that, it's just like, oh my gosh, you at this again, you doing the same stuff. It's just like, I'm kind of glad that he went. I'm glad that you wrote in that he got the help that he needed, because he definitely needed it. And I just think when Kendall stood up and was like, I got you, I'll take care of this, I was like, yeah, this man love her.
He loves her real bad. He loves her real bad.
Yeah. He loved her. Like, you can lose your whole career. Then what?
Yeah. And that took a lot of like thinking strategy wise of like,
right,
how can this play out in a way that maybe wouldn't jeopardize him as much, or how can this be turned into a thing that actually works in everybody's favor versus like I have to make it bad, or I have to make it obvious that I'm fumbling here and throwing interceptions there or anything like that. Like, no, we're gonna win, and it's gonna matter that we win to save you versus we lose to save you.
Yeah, that's so true.
Super Bowl. That was his Super Bowl game.
That was his Super Bowl, yeah.
And it's funny because it's like, as readers, you just get it. Then you find out, of course, they didn't get to go to the Super Bowl, but that had to be like the absolute test of him. And it's so sad and unfortunate because, of course, we can't share it. But that was the true test of him as a player, and just knowing that I can get it done when it's crunch time, So it's like he still proved himself in his mind and in the reader's mind, because he came into that season with something to prove, and I think that game helped him prove who he could really truly be. Absolutely. So it elevated his greatness. So. And Kendall can do no wrong. So
he couldn't do no wrong. Nothing.
Do no wrong. Anyway, listen, I protect Kendall at all costs.
We got you, Snoopy. We got you. We got
Snoopy.
Yes.
Listen, at all costs. So my last question on this about 2-minute warning is, in the end, we see baby sis. And she has come in with who we later know and find out it's got to be one of Kendall's teammates. So, look, I know you can't tell us who, because that was a part of the suspense, but will we get to see that story play out?
Yes, that will be the next Skyhawks book. When it happens, I'm not going to put it out because I've done this before and it never works in my favor to be lying on people's podcasts like that. So, I'm not gonna put a date on it, but that is who I have in mind for the next Skyhawks book.
Yay! Let me just tell you this.
Excited.
Yes, you can just drop it, because you just dropped another book that we're about to discuss too. And I know people was running for it, but nah, that's fine. I'm okay with if you just drop it. If you're like, oh, bam, oh yeah, here, go read it.
Listen, I promise you, and I tell Crystal this all the time. I was like, now, I can hardly find time. But I was like, certain people, I'm going to make time for. So it's like, I know it might take a minute to get this audio. You drop this book, I'm going to have to just make some time.
And I appreciate that. That makes me feel special, that to know that you, who ain't got no time to read, would make time to read what I got.
I don't know how she sleep. I don't even know if she get a good hours of sleep, like literally. Because I'm telling you, she be up late and early up in the morning. Like, are you getting enough sleep?
I'm trying to tell you, me and sleep one day will be best friends. I promise we will.
In the universe, yes. Because you need
we will be best friends one day. We are not as of now, but we will be best friends.
Aspire, yes, you aspire to.
Yes,
I aspire to retire with my bestie sleep.
Hey, I'm not a person that sleep. I can do 4 hours and be good. It'll catch up with me eventually, but 4 hours, it's this ever since I started reading. It's gotten worse. When I had that boy, because he didn't sleep throughout the night. My son is 24. He still don't sleep all night long. It's crazy. I don't like he can sleep off for 4 hours and be good. And then when it finally catch up with him, you don't hear from him for a day or two, and he's like, "Oh, I was asleep."
Damn. How long? Are you okay?
Yeah, but yeah, that's how he's always been like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm
he used
telling
to.
you.
Oh my gosh, he started messing up my sleep. He used to get up in the middle of the night and he'll be up, and then he'll come and like lift up my eyelids and be like, "Are you asleep?"
Not the eyelids, boy.
Not
Watch
lifting my
Yes,
TV.
eyelids.
you don't get out of here. Like, why are you still up? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he
Mm-mm.
never. He don't sleep. And then like as an adult, I'll be around him, and I'd be like, it'd be like he'll fall asleep, and then at like about 2 o'clock, you'll hear him watching TV and laughing, and I'm like, dude, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. He'd be like,
Right.
I know. He'd be up till 6, go back to sleep for like 2 hours, and then be up the rest of the day.
So he get his hours. They
Girl,
just happen chopped up.
Hmm.
Just chop them
Yeah,
up. Okay.
I don't know. It might be a boy thing because even my oldest son, like when he was a baby, it never fails. 1 o'clock in the morning. When he
hmm
was like 8 months old, this was the eerie thing, and I couldn't stop it. He kept doing it. He would crawl out of his crib and slide down inside of his crib like he was a fireman. Crawl
hmm
and land on his butt and crawl across the hallway. Now he wouldn't get into nothing. It scared the heck out of me, but he would
Mhm.
never get into anything. He would just crawl across and push the door open and come in, and he would climb on the side of the bed, and he would use all his little strength and plop and hit me right in the side of the stomach.
hmm
And, and then I'd be like, oh, where you came from? And then I just tossed him over the middle. He would sit in the middle between me and my husband, and he would just play until he fell asleep.
Yep, that was my son. I
Now
don't know. It's yeah.
I wore myself out trying to get this boy to stop, and my husband said, "Why don't you just let him play till he go to sleep?" And then I
Yep.
was like, "Okay." And so that's what he did. And so then my husband would look and take him back and put him in his crib. And I was
See, when you talk about sliding down the crib, all I could think about is like Rugrats and like sliding
Yeah,
down the
they
crib and getting into a
rugrats.
mission. Like,
Hmm.
he's
They
under
definite rugrats. I had to
like,
keep the bathroom door closed. I had to keep the toilet
"Girl,
seat down. It was so much that I had to do with him. So then, like, I think he was about like 7, and I was like, okay, I didn't. I was like, just put a TV. Let's put a TV in his room. I would be asleep. It would be like 1 o'clock in the morning. You just hear him laughing. He was up watching Adult Swim,
Oh
and you know,
no!
back in the day, Adult Swim
It
was
was it was Adult Swim.
yes,
Yeah.
it was
it was
adult
Adult Swim.
swim."
Hmm.
Yes, and I'm like, oh my god! But that was the only way I can keep him in the bed, and don't let him get a new video game.
He
He would
stays
not go
up.
to
Oh
sleep.
yeah, that's
Yep,
yeah.
Oh
he
yeah,
will
that's
play the
it.
whole game the
He
first
will
night,
play
go to
it.
school, and then come home. He'll take a nap.
And
But
then
yeah,
go back
so I
to
had to
bed.
learn. Yeah, we had to learn to get him a game on a Friday. So like, cause we already knew, but that's what he would do. But yeah, he don't sleep all night, and I just be
I'm
like,
trying to tell you,
mm-mm.
it's a boy thing. My son stay up to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get up and be at work by 9 o'clock. I don't understand how he do it, and
Like it's nothing.
I
I
don't
would not. I
understand
would
how he
not
do
make
it
it
on a
through the day.
consistent
Like I would not.
on a
I'd
Mm-mm.
be
consistent
like,
basis.
Mm-mm.
I say that, and I do the same thing when I work. But it's just the point that he make me tired.
I just be tired listening to him.
He
He be
makes
like,
me
"Oh, I ain't
tired.
sleep." Or I love when he'll text me. It'll be like 8 o'clock. Oh no, 6 o'clock in the morning. You up? No.
No.
no, like
What do you want? Like it's 6 o'clock in the
try this
morning.
again later. Like
Yeah.
No,
And
my
then if you respond back to him, do you know it'll be like 4 or 5 hours later, or sometimes the next day? I'll be like, I
uh,
responded back, or he'll be like, you ain't answered my question. Go back and look at the text I did. You
right.
must have fell asleep. Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely
listen,
crazy.
I'm trying to tell you, he keeps me going because if I'm up working late, he'll slide in here. Chris, I tell you this, he's so funny. He'll peek his head in and just be like, "Mom," I was like, "What?" He was like, "I just want to talk to you about your car and extend the warranty." Go to bed.
Yep.
Go to
This
bed.
is
Like this is
silly. I love
crazy.
that though.
This is
Yes.
crazy. It's crazy. But listen, so we got one more book to get through. Now, this is your Skyhawks adjacent. It's only 5,000 words. So I have like the perfect review on this. I can't read it because if I read it, then I kind of give away a little bit too much of the story tonight. But let's just say this: it's a short story. It is about Mara and it's about Quincy.
Hmm.
And I, my first thing is Mara is a baker, and she has this customer who comes in who does not know what a baker's dozen is. Now,
Idiot.
I heard it was like, you know how you have the stories that go around on social media. It was one that I saw a while ago about this same person. Like she texted the lady was texting the baker because she didn't understand what a dozen was, and she was like, "You gave me 12." She was like, "Yeah." She like, "I asked for a dozen."
Like, girl, what do you think that means?
That's crazy.
I was gonna ask, was this story about this baking version inspired by that, or it was just something that
Yes, that's
came
funny you said that because I never saw that, but I believe it because people, like I said, people be children left behind. Is how I put it nicely.
No,
Is that they be children left behind?
the no child left behind ain't left everybody behind.
Left everybody behind.
The long-term damage, okay.
Right.
Damage, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, what would be something that is just so annoying at the most annoying time it could happen, and it would be that, like, you really up here talking to me about this? Like, I got all this going on, and I got to explain to you why you have 13 cupcakes, like. So yeah,
And then she said, "I'll be able to throw it away."
Well, why would you do that? Well, why are you here asking me this stupid question?
Like,
because now you got me coming out of character. Like,
Yep.
all of this could have been avoided.
I'm telling you, I am Team Mara because I would have came right about a character too.
Yeah, especially like you said, all that stuff that's going on, and she hid it by herself, and then I got to deal with an ignorant customer. I would have been mad too. I was like, you know what? I probably would have threw it at him. Yeah, I would have thrown it at him.
Yes.
Or I would have pissed him off even more and probably picked it up and licked it.
Something. Like, I gotta match your petty with my petty.
Petty, yes.
And
Mara was the right person for the job because she handled
yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. But Quincy though, he stepped out of that line.
Oh, Quincy.
I said, "Oh, okay, okay."
All right, Quincy. Listen, Quincy and Campbell, Jesus.
Quincy was like a breath of fresh air. Like, okay, so let me ask you this first. How old were they? Because like I said, we knew they was in college, but how old were they at this point in time?
So in my mind, they were like late 20s, maybe inching into 30s. I didn't have like an exact because it was just a short, so I wasn't going to dive that deeply.
Right.
They had both went to grad school, finished grad school, all these different things. So yeah, they were like late 20s going into 30s, maybe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that.
Because NFL careers are, for most people are very short lived.
They are.
3 years.
They're,
Mm-hmm.
3 years on average. So I could see him being. He was definitely fine, but the way you described it was definitely fine. So I was just like, yes, Coach Quincy.
Whatever you say, Coach. Whatever you say.
Yes, I love it. I felt like it was an inner turmoil with her. I loved to see that because, it was from her point of view, it's like, why is he here? And, so then I'm remembering, oh, now we're not together. I loved when you would do that, not mine. And like, why is he here? And I remember when we did this and I remember when we did that, but why is he here? It's just like, it always kept going back to why he's here. And then when he asked that question, she was like, yeah. So it's just like, girl, you did all that to just go ahead and say, yeah.
Because she was working herself to that in her mind the whole time.
Right.
Like, you saw her whole perspective on him go from like, oh, but we broke up. He's not mine. But I am proud of him. And he's proud of me too.
Yes.
And I'm glad to see him doing well. And I wouldn't have all of this if it wasn't for him sowing that seed in me to do this. And so by the time he asked that question, she already arrived there on her own, but she needed to hear it.
And that's what I was like. It was just it was quick. It was cute. And we both have the same question. I mean, like, is it going to be more? Are we going to see them again?
So in my mind, since the next book will feature like Shakira and Kendall going through their her pregnancy and all these different things, and they're investors in Mara's business, and so everything
Right.
that they have going on with that, Mara will be involved in from the dessert aspect. And then with Quincy being a new coach for the Skyhawks, we'll get to see him with whichever Skyhawk player is our lucky man. And how
So
we'll and
we'll see Lance and Brianna again too.
Yep.
Okay, because it's funny, she's pregnant too. So we get babies.
Yeah, we get to see
so
babies. We get to see babies. I'm already so pussy.
Yes, but I do have a question, and I kind of want this. I feel like I'm not going. No, I'm gonna say it. It's probably being a little messy, and I love that for myself because I feel like we as women, we expect the man to do it, but things that we expect that man to do in our life, we need to start doing it. So my question was, I know Mara said that she had an opportunity in Houston for her bakery, but couldn't that have happened in California as well?
I think the seeds were already planted in Houston, and so to restart from scratch, restart from the very beginning would have been a whole new undertaking. And then to want to restart something there in California, but then he might move again. Like, I can't really plant myself here in the way that I need to be planted if I really want to take this business to the next level. And like she said, like, her staying is what allowed her to end up getting the money to even, take it to the next level. And she already had customers in the area, so that was a better transition versus just starting from scratch in, a whole different city. So it was
that is true. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna ask anyway because I'm like, girl, everybody likes sweets. Right, everybody likes sweets. And the way he talked about your peach cobbler cupcakes, it don't matter. You just probably would have had it made it a little bit more nutritious, a little bit more less. Ooh, it probably would have been nasty then going to California because they all health conscious over there. So
listen, and the way she wanted and he wanted their personal peach cobbler.
That part.
When he called her daydreaming, he knew exactly what she was daydreaming about.
Mara had to grab that counter like, whoo. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Listen, I came from that back and closed that bakery so fast.
What? Yes. I just loved it. Yeah, it was like a grown up story. It was a not playing games type of story. It was like, nope, I'm here for you. I love you. I've always loved you. I still love you, and I want you back. Point blank, period.
Yeah, that's why I call it. I love it. Second chance encounter, because we don't see, obviously we would love to see somebody groveling for chapters and chapters and slowly winning the heart back. But it's like, no, she knows she wants to be with this person. She just couldn't get away. And now he's here, like, problem fixed. Let's do this.
And the fact that he said that, this can happen again. I can be moved again. So I he put on the line everything, and okay.
And you know what I loved about that though is that even though they're kind of still in a certain situation where he's back, but he could potentially be gone again. What I love about it though is that which was brilliant, she stayed to establish herself. So now she's established. It's a little bit easier to, if you want to go, to say, okay, well, I have this established business. Maybe I can, have
hire
like
people and
hire people and start on, like just on.
That's what I was thinking.
The smaller, business.
Open a second location.
Yes, she can do that now. And it's like, now that she's established herself here, she has more of that type of freedom. So even if that does occur, she's in a different space and place with her and with her mindset than she was before, because now she knows how to do this and she has the backing and she's established her own financial, gain through this. So I love that, but I do love that he was still very honest with her about, hey,
yes,
vulnerable, and he was like, but regardless, I'm back though. For right now, I'm back.
For right now, we it. Yes. So, are you a baker?
I'm not a baker. Well, I mean, I could follow a box, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
like
that's
for
something I
scratch
can't do.
situations, I'm good on the first scratch, but I can.
I made a no-bake cheesecake, and I was very proud of myself. And I need to go get the stuff to make it. My daughter, I was like, you got me in here being Susie Homemaker, and I don't like this. But it was so good. It was so good.
Not a baker.
But yeah, I'm not a baker.
The only thing I've ever baked is my grandmother's sweet potato pie recipe. Because she passed it along, and I wanted to like just do it at least once for myself.
To make sure you
And
had it. Yeah.
yes, and I was like, I did it, and I had it. But baby, let me tell you, kudos to my grandma because
That's a lot of work.
Something about some mixing and stirring and the way, because she knows that she taught us how to do it where there's no strings like in the potatoes and stuff in the pie. And I'm just like, listen here, if I can't get nothing else, I'll be like, Lord, if you can send my grandma back down here and do this for me again, because I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this.
You thinking you got them all out, and then you lift the beater up, and they still hanging like, God,
He's like, I don't want to do this no more. But it turned out well. It's just like when I say it's a lot of work. So kudos to bakers. Kudos tomorrow.
For sure.
Kudos to the bakers, because that is not a life only. And look, and since I'm being all late with this, let me go ahead, y'all, and show y'all the book again for 2 minute warning that I did not show. That is 2 minute warning with, as I call it, the Kendall Snoop Dogwood book.
Yeah, that's Kendall Snoop Dogwood book.
That is
very accurate description. That should have been the blurb. Kendall Dogwood's book. That's all.
That's it. That's it.
All you need to know.
That's all you need to know. Just read him, please. And we are talking about Hail Mary.
This is the cutest cover ever. Like the pan, and then you see the plays. Oh, I loved it. I was like, this is so
cute. Let me show that again, because you just said it, and I took it off real fast. I'm gonna put it back up.
Yeah, so you can see her like rolling out the flour, and inside the flour is the plays. Now I'm blind. Yep. Okay. Well, I thought that's what I saw, but yeah, I love that.
Yeah, because I definitely
it's the creativity for me. Yes.
I like I said, I gotta give big credit to my cover designer, because I was ready to send her a picture of like just a man holding a cupcake or something simple. She was like, "Oh, what if we did the play but in flour, like the actual Hail Mary play?" And I'm just like, "Oh my God, like my brain just don't work like that." But I'm glad yours does, because it's like it makes
that so work out perfect.
Now that she said it, and so she's like, "Okay, let me like do some photoshopping and see if I can make this work." And she said it to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is brilliant!" So
yes, shout out to the cover design, because you did your thing on that one.
Yes.
She did. She did
her thing. I love it.
She did her absolute thing, and I absolutely loved. I loved all the covers as well. This is just a phenomenal series, and you should be amped up for love and for football. So before we get up out of here, I want to ask. So, what are you doing for Super Bowl Sunday, Miss Alexandra?
I just bought some wings today. So those will definitely be getting cooked. I mean, we probably won't have like a big Super Bowl party, but we'll definitely be eating. So I'll find one of them stored desserts and and get my wings and get some rolls and make it do what it do. So yeah.
Listen, you gotta go. First of all, I'm gonna need you to go find some peach cobbler cupcakes to have at the Super Bowl party.
It came from my sister's baby shower. This was in like 2019, but the lady, that was one of her flavors, and I was just like, I would never think to do this, but
me either.
Now that I'm tasting it, like it makes so much sense. So
I'm not a pie eater. I don't eat pie at all.
It's me neither, but
that I love pie. Well, I love sweet potato pie. Let me just back that up. I love sweet potato pie, but I'm more, if we're gonna talk about as far as sweets and stuff, I would be more like of a cake eater, because I like more variety of cakes than I like pie. I mean, I literally only like sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
You like a pie. You don't like pies. You like a pie.
Yeah. Right. I don't like pies. I like cakes, but I don't like pies. So that is definitely, one of my treats. But for me, for Super Bowl Sunday, because I'm definitely not going for the. I'm just watching it for the commercials and for Usher. But
I'm about to say just the
um,
commercials and Usher.
well, I will say this: I am rooting for the Chiefs for my friend. Her godson plays for the Chiefs, and so Jalen Watson, we gonna be
Shout
rooting
out.
for you. He's from the hometown, so
Okay.
I'm rooting for him. I am so super proud of him,
Mhm.
because he's doing so well. He was a seventh round draft pick, but he is going for Super Bowl ring number 2, and he gets a whole lot of playing
I
time.
know
So
that's
I'm so
right.
proud
That's
of
so
him.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm happy for him. So definitely we'll be going for the Chiefs. Even though that's not my team.
Mhm.
I like I
Gotta
said,
choose. Yeah.
I am going to root for the players. And so
Uh,
I want to root for Patrick Mahomes' daddy. Because let me tell you something. His daddy made if anybody can make me love the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, it's his daddy. His daddy I love his dad.
You know what? I would
So
say his dad was the biggest surprise. Like I was just not
yes.
expecting his daddy to look like that, to act like that, to talk like that, to like he was just the biggest, like
Listen,
in a good way. He was just the biggest, like
okay, now I'm gonna have to look him up because I haven't seen him.
listen. I ain't gonna even tell a lie. Look, I hate to be this frank, but look, Patrick Mahomes' daddy brought Patrick Mahomes back home to us. I just gonna say it like
Let me
that.
let me let me go ahead and
His
look at this
daddy
man real quick.
brought him back home to us, and I was just like,
oh, you have a black dad, like
"You got you
you
got
have
a
a black
legit
daddy.
black
Yeah.
daddy.
Yes.
You got a legit black
Yes.
daddy.
Yes.
Like he ain't, like borderline or
Mm-mm,
he
mm-mm.
legit black. Like this
Hmm.
homeboy from the hood black.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully he got out of jail from his DUI that he just had. But
Yeah, and
Oh
his
yeah,
and
2 days ago I see that. Yeah, his dad black.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
his dad was a professional. Was his dad a professional baseball player?
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. He was. So yeah, daddy got look. It running the family. So, but I'm like you. I was totally shocked. I was just blown away.
Yeah. Like I don't know what I had in my mind, but I was just like,
It
whoa,
wasn't that.
wow, yeah, wow,
We didn't expect that.
at all.
It wasn't that.
Oh
So
yeah. Mm-hmm. I had to look him up. I ain't never seen. I seen the mama, but I ain't never seen him.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We wasn't expecting that. But so Alexandra, tell us like where can everybody get your books? How can they reach you? And where are you gonna be in 2024?
Okay, so finding my books, I would always just start at my website. Actually, it's alexandra.com. There you can find links to everything, all the ebooks, all the audiobooks, the samples you want, all of that. But all my books are available for purchase on Amazon. I think paperbacks are also available at Barnes and Noble. And then just some like scattered bookstores, like smaller bookstores. So if you're in the Houston area, I would suggest you go to the Book Readers Venue. It is a Black-owned bookstore, and they have
Mhm.
not just my books, but a great selection of indie romance, indie Black romance specifically. Um, so yeah, that's my books. I'm on social media everywhere. Like I said, if you go to my website, you'll find the list of that because I don't want to bore y'all giving y'all all the different screen names that you gotta follow. Like that's just too much. But you can definitely find links to everything there. And then where I'll be this year, I will be in Nashville in July for One Love Reunion. It is the 10th anniversary of One Love Reunion, hosted by AC Arthur, and it is a weekend event. So we'll be there for a few days. It's such a good time. We did it. I was there in it had to be 2021 maybe, when we were in Orlando, and AC puts together a great event. There's panels and parties and all these different things. So check that out. And then I also will be in Dallas in September for Me and My Romance Friends, which is hosted by Gray Huffington. There is a wonderful lineup of authors, and that's a weekend event also. So I think you can visit the Me and My Romance Friends website to find out more information on that.
All right.
Awesome. Well, Crystal, let us know where we can reach you.
You can reach me on Instagram at Books and Soul One and on Facebook Yeah, Facebook and TikTok at Books and Soul. I can't remember my Twitter password, and then I need to stay off of Twitter because I seem to get in trouble over there. So yeah,
Listen.
I ain't got time. The foolishness, I ain't got time for it.
Let me tell you something. I had been on Twitter so many months, would say I don't have one.
Me, yeah. I can't remember the password.
Stay away. It's a trap.
It definitely is.
Listen, I let Elon have whatever he wanted to be. X, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Yep.
He lets them have it. Well, you guys, y'all know y'all can find me on Facebook. Well, actually, all social media, but I am only really truly active on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as author Untamed. So that's where I am. Um, Listen, I'm trying to think, am I anywhere else? No, those are the main three. Those are the main three that you'll find me: Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Maybe YouTube every now and again, but not so much, not so much. And of course, please make sure that you follow the podcast at Get Caught Up Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we do have a Facebook group, Get Caught Up Author Podcast, where we just have a whole lot of fun and share, our interviews, all of the things. The Writer Wednesdays is just a whole bunch of fun. And coming up, we will have an author interview with author Shakira Thompson. That is coming up on February 21st. And February, we also have our narrator of the month. We are doing book of the month and narrator of the month every month this year. So pray for us and we pray for you.
Yes, because
these interviews are huge. And our February narrator of the month is Sean Crisden. I cannot wait to talk to him.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to talk to, as he calls himself, the voice of reason. I love to hear him speak. He has done some phenomenal, a plethora of books. His catalog is massive. So definitely make sure you tune in February the 29th for that. We are also interviewing for Book of the Month, Miss John Vosser with Ignite. So please make sure you tune in February 27th for that. That will be live. We're going to discuss that book where that is our Black History themed book. So we doing it all. We've got Love and Football. We got Black History Month. We got Narrative Month with Cupid Kristen coming in. So
just keep it coming. Just keep it coming.
We got it all coming in. So definitely. And please, if you have some poetry that you would like to submit, we're doing a 14 days of poetry. So for the first 14 days in February, we do have some slots still left. If you want to submit a poem, we will advertise on our social media pages. Please submit that through our Gmail account at getcaughtupodcast1@gmail.com. We'll definitely make sure we highlight it. If you want your picture, you can see your picture or your logo in. We put a nice little graphic to it and just share. Poetry is my first love. It's Crystal's love. So definitely wanted to get into that. So like I said, we got a lot going on.
Y'all got a lot going on. I'm sitting there like,
yes.
Y'all working. But we love it. We appreciate it as authors. We appreciate it. I know the narrators and everybody else appreciate it too. But as authors, I can speak for the authors and say we appreciate having spaces like this to come on to chat with y'all, have some fun with y'all, but also, promote ourselves in our book. So keep doing what y'all doing.
This is so much fun. Like, for real. This is always a good time. Always.
It's a treat for us too. It really is. So thank you.
You're welcome. I enjoy it. I absolutely. I wanted a space, and I say this completely all the time. It's like when it first started this. Oh my gosh, 5 years ago now? Yeah, we're in season 5. So 5 years ago, it was because we didn't have spaces where we feel like readily be. And so this has doubly blessed me because I get to meet so many amazing authors, so many amazing people in the literary community, but also provide a space and a place where y'all are free to come on and just promote yourselves and promote your books. And so I love it. And I love that the listeners here, look, far and wide. Tune in. We are in 45 countries.
I know that's right.
I
Yeah.
am excited about it. The international, listen, international people be they be tuned in,
Tuned
okay?
in.
They
As they
definitely
should
do.
be. Yeah, no, that's what's up.
I love it. I love it. I love getting their emails into us about the show and messages. And they look, they saying so. I appreciate it. Hey, from Russia to what did I say that other day? Russia and Lithuania and all kinds of
Listen,
You
places.
had
So,
somebody in what, Cape Town, somewhere in Africa.
mm-hmm.
That's
And
Yep.
amazing.
so
That's the power
I
of the
love
internet,
it.
man. The power of the internet.
I know.
Power
The
it
reach.
it reaches. Look,
Yes.
it reaches far and wide. So I
Mm.
love that for you guys because y'all are getting introduced to audiences in places that, we don't even think about. We don't consider
Right.
sometimes. So
Hmm.
I love it. I love it for you guys. I love it for us. So definitely, you know, um, we shall continue on. We'll keep on keeping on. And hopefully, look, Crystal gonna speak this revolt or somebody in, so it's gonna be sitting up here like we'll have a
I've been
whole group
saying
of
revolt,
people.
Yeah.
like all these other little TV people, like Kiki Palmer, pick
Mm.
us up. You
Hey,
narrated some books. Come
she
on,
sure
Kiki,
did.
come get us.
She sure did.
She
Look,
narrated some books, so come on
well,
over here.
she's written some, maybe some of
Yeah,
them was like, ghost written, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Her
yeah.
name on
It's
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Her
There you
name is
go.
on there, but so swing our way, Kiki. We'll be grateful for the
We
opportunity.
sure would.
We'll be grateful for the
Just
opportunity.
don't censor me too much now.
Listen, she said that we get over there with her. She said, now y'all about to get these FCC regulations.
Look,
I'll be like, I'm like, I'm about to be like, y'all might as well get the beats ready.
Listen, they gonna be like, we can't even understand it, but we know what y'all's talking about.
right. We can read the
Mhm.
mouths and figure
We
it
Get
know
the
out.
what
beats
y'all is talking
ready.
about. Get the beats ready for us, honey. So, but
Hmm.
absolutely, but also make sure that you are also subscribing to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. I was about to say Google. Google is going away, so if you are subscribed on Google, subscribe somewhere else because Google decided to shut down their podcasting site. But we're also
Shame.
on Audible. I know we're on Audible of Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. So you definitely can subscribe for any one of those places, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts because we do have RSS feed that's
There
going
you
on.
go.
So
Period.
anyway you listen to it, just go ahead and sign up. But again, did I get everybody out? Yeah, I talked about the music. Look, I'm trying to make sure I got
You got
everything in
everybody.
for
You
this
got
month.
everything.
February is humping. Like, it is humping month. But as we
February
have
is
look,
February.
Yes. I love that for
and
y'all.
pun and pun intended,
Thank
I said
you.
February was a humping month.
Literally.
Literally, it
Literally.
Very on brand.
Yeah.
Very on brand. Yep.
is very bad.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But yes, but also, it has been a lovely time with you. Thank you so much for coming on with
Thank
us
Of course.
and talking about Can't
Anytime.
Catch Me and Hail Mary and Kendall Dogwood's book.
Yes.
Book
All we
title.
worried about is
Just
Snoop and
Kendall Snoop
Shake. Snoop and
Dogwood.
Shake. Yep. Snoop. Kendall Snoop Dogwood. If you
And
ain't read
Alexandra know how
nothing,
she
you
listen.
better
She
pick
know
him
how
up.
I am. I'll jump in her DM and say some foolery in a minute. I'll jump in there like, oh my god. So
Hmm.
definitely, y'all, and make sure that you please pick it up. You check it out. I don't care how you partake of it, whether or not you read it, whether or not you listen to it, whether or not you listen to it. I say do all of the above.
Me too.
However you choose to, make sure that you consume it. It is the perfect love story, standalone series per couple. And if you love football, definitely it is one that you will be able to get into because it definitely is a perfect marriage between the two. So
Thank you.
Yes.
phenomenal job. Kudos to you. And thank
Thank
you
Yes.
so
you.
much for
Kudos and thank you for
joining.
coming. I was so excited. She was like, "We got Alexandra." I was
Now
like,
y'all know I was gonna come on. Like I don't even
"Yes."
know what
I was
y'all knew that was gonna come. When was the
like,
question, but y'all know this is gonna happen. So like I said, thank you for providing a space for us to
"Yes,
keep reading
yes."
about
Thank
these
you.
books.
You are so welcome. And listeners, thank you guys for continuing to tune in and just support these authors, support this podcast. We appreciate you time after time again. Sponsors, donors, I appreciate you time after time again. And as I always say, until next time, don't forget to get caught up. Good night.
Good night.